for everyone so that everyone gets covered.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री, चूहा जो है सदियों से हमारे गड्ढे का जो है और हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी से वही हमारा सो हमारा यही पर्पस है कि चूहा जो है उसको हमें मारना नहीं।
पीछे होते पीएम के पास मत आइए, पीछे होते अच्छा
ये फसल एक एकड़ से अगर होती है तो इतनी रह जाती है। हमारी जो एप्लीकेशन है जड़ बूटों से बनी हुई है, कोई केमिकल नहीं है, कोई पेस्टिसाइड नहीं है। उसको अप्लाई करने से आप ये सोचिए दुनिया में कितनी अनाज की बचत की जा सकती है और कितना उसको बढ़ाया जा सकता है। और हम इसको इंडिया में लाकर इसको इंडिया में बनाना चाहते हैं और पूरे विश्व को सप्लाई करना चाहते हैं। रॉ मटेरियल क्या है? रॉ मटेरियल इसका एक जड़ी बूटी है, वो उसमें से एक पदार्थ निकलता है, उसको क्रिप्टोलाइट कहते हैं और उससे ये लोरेडा जो फाउंडर है इसमें
बच्चों को ऐसे कैसे जागरूक करना है। आज मैंने सुबह कुछ मछली मछलियाँ हैं, इसको मैंने डाला। धीरे धीरे आप देखें मछली के प्लेन से टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है। अपने बच्चों के साथ हम लोग जितने माइक्रोस्कोप बनाना चाहते हैं, दुनिया के अगर देखो 2 बिलियन तो 1 बिलियन जो उन सबके साथ और गोल ये है कि इसको नेक्स्ट स्टेज और ये जो कम्युनिटी है इस माइक्रोस्कोप यूज करके एक ऐसा तरीका निकाला जिससे आप देख करेंसी को इसको यूज करके ये पता लगाया कि वायरस मैं बरेली में पढ़ा
many solar pumping schemes going, but the small acreage farmers have still yet to develop. And we developed such an efficient pump that the amount of panels we need comes down by a factor of 2 or 3, making the entire system affordable to farmers.
How much power it requires?
It requires 300 watts. Yes.
सर डोसा मशीन एक बटन दबाने से 1 मिनट में डोसा बन जाता है।
डोसा बनाते हो?
ऑटोमेटिक डोसा बनता है। मिस हो गया
मैं इसका फोटो ले maybe you can come over here.
बताइए क्या क्या है
मैं मिस्टर हाँ सुशील जी आप
ने हमारा रेफर किया था जनवरी लास्ट ईयर में ये कॉम्पिटिशन है वी आर इन द टॉप 3 इन द वर्ल्ड एंड स्टार्टेड ऑफ एज 30 teams which is now 16 teams now. Competition is called the Global Winner Express. This time to learn university funded private money 50 million. काफ़ी ज़्यादा खर्च हुआ 4 साल पहले से हमने शुरू किया था अभी हमें 6 महीने हुए हैं उनकी एक जूरी थी उन्होंने $1 million का प्राइज for what we built and this is what we qualified. This is designed to fly on a PSLV and L&T is a partner to हमारे द्वारा में कस्तूरी रंजन साहब of course he's the biggest source of strength and these are some of the bad effects that are to actually design and the rest of them are all 22 years old. Dr. Adimurthy हमारे भाई साहब के सबसे known respected हैं जिन्होंने मंगलयान चंद्रयान इन्होंने हमारा रिव्यू किया था and that was very some of our business advisors that's what we say. So we're saying we want to reach out to the space sector. We are leveraging everything else but
afternoon to all of you once again. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister of India is visiting Silicon Valley after 40 years. And Silicon Valley, which is the hub of innovation. So it's a very proud moment for many people in the Valley, and some of us who have traveled all the way from India for this event to welcome you from our inner hearts. Years thereafter to create the second 100 million users. But for the third 100 million internet users, it took us less than 12 months. That's the pace at which India is progressing. It's a pace of exponential growth at this point of time. The second point I like to make is, if you look at the unicorns, or the companies which have a market capitalization of $1 billion, largely led by private equity investors, well, there are about 136 of them in the world. 7 of them are from India. And 3 of them are in the audience today. So this gives you a reflection of how the economy is doing today, how the opportunities are shaping up for every one of you here. So therefore, I like to say that it's a great place to be in at this point of time to exploit those opportunities. The second point I like to make is, India is a place which is now open and connected. You look at the Indian connection that we have, we're deeply connected into the Silicon Valley to the diaspora. While Indians make about 6% of the Indian diaspora, but 15% of startup companies have been created by Indians in the Silicon Valley. That's a great reflection of how Indian entrepreneurship has done in this part of the world. And certainly what we have seen is many of the American kids, and 4 months back, I think we have seen a welcome change in India. There have been consistent policies that we have seen, very progressive policies all the time, which are encouraging different sets of companies, whether it is large or small. And I like to acknowledge the new coinage the Honorable Prime Minister brought about in the last few days called personal corporations. There is public sector, there is private sector, and there is personal sector, which just gives you an indication of how much amount of focus he has on the new companies coming up or the startups that are coming into existence. While it is true that there are some challenges still there, in terms of the cross-border investments, there are challenges in terms of some of the bankruptcy laws, venture capital, skilling India, and so on and so forth. But on behalf of NASSCOM, I'd like to assure the Honorable Prime Minister that we are working very closely with the government in making a number of recommendations and making sure that we will resolve them very soon. So this is an assurance from NASSCOM to the Honorable Prime Minister. And lastly, we certainly want to assure the Prime Minister that we live up to his very inspiring slogan of Startup India, Stand Up India. I now would request Mr. Venkatesh Shukla to introduce our next speaker. Venkatesh.
On behalf of TiE Silicon Valley, welcome to you all to this one-of-a-kind event, a historic event where the Prime Minister of India is here with us. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce an icon of Silicon Valley. Reid Hoffman is co-founder and executive chairman at LinkedIn. His partner at one of the bluest of blue chips venture funds, Greylock Partners. He is an accomplished entrepreneur, executive, and investor, and he has played an integral role in building some of the biggest consumer internet companies, not just LinkedIn. He has also been involved, you see, as a venture and as an angel investor in the biggest names that you can think of, like Facebook, Airbnb, Flickr, Mozilla, and Zynga. He serves on a number of non-profit boards, including Kiva, founded by Premal Shah, Endeavor, and Do Something. He is co-author of 2 books, the New York Times bestsellers, both of them, The Startup of You and Alliance. He is an Aspen Institute Crown Fellow, a Marshall Scholar at Stanford, and a graduate of Stanford University. It's truly my honor to request Reed to come and share his perspective on startups, innovation, and whatever else he wants to share with us. Thank you, sir.
It's an honor to be here today. Indian entrepreneurs and Thai have played a foundational role in Silicon Valley. And entrepreneurship is key for how you develop new technologies and how you deploy them in ways that they help elevate humanity. Some of these statistics have already been mentioned, but even with a tiny percentage of Indian entrepreneurs coming here from India, they're responsible for nearly 15% of the startups that get created, that have been created in Silicon Valley. Actually, 6.5% of all startups in the US and 8% of all technology startups in the US, with less than 1% of the population. It's pretty amazing. I think it's one of the reasons why Silicon Valley enables such amazing growth to scale-ups, because this pool of knowledge and talent that is collected here from India and other places in the world have created a partially global culture, a sense of not only are we trying to just build something interesting here, but build something interesting for the world. And it's one of the things that I think kind of informed the ideas that when we were thinking about this at LinkedIn is that there's an economic graph, which is you take people and companies and skills and knowledge and jobs and universities, you represent them all digitally, and then you essentially help make connections between them, help matching, help discovery, and that's what essentially grows an economy, whether for an individual or a company or a country. And this is, so naturally, the things that the Honorable Prime Minister is doing in terms of Digital India is a very, natural sense of great leadership into the future. Because when you represent these things digitally, allow people to participate in them, that essentially raises economic outcomes. And there have been a lot of good, rigorous studies that have shown that as you increase telephony, so for example, every 10 basis points or so, that you increase telephonic connection, connectivity between the people, you increase GDP by 50 basis points or more. And that this increases the purchasing power of a middle class, it increases the economic outcomes. Well, that's part of what the internet and digital revolution have been doing here in Silicon Valley, and it's part of what I think is so magnificent about the Digital India initiative, because the question is how do you get all of these people connected and building their path as individuals and as companies to the future. And there's no concern, of course, about having a culture of boldness, because we already see that from the Indian entrepreneurs who come here. And I think that the question about what you can create is essentially empowerment and enablement for everybody. Now, this is no surprise to the Honorable Prime Minister, of course, because deploying such technologies as holograms in order to bring humanity to the people is obviously a move of the future and something that people in Silicon Valley here would have thought of as well, so it's obviously no surprise. I guess the last thing I would say about entrepreneurship is the key thing for this is the class I'm teaching at Stanford right now, is that the key successes of Silicon Valley is not startups actually, but scale-ups. And it's efforts that come out of India, major companies, major entrepreneurs, a great country that actually, in fact, is part of that information that brings those scale-ups to, that's knowledge of scale-ups here, and then also creates the goodness in the world. And so the thing to think about is not just that creation of startup, but actually how you create companies that are world transforming in terms of their impact. And so with that, thank you, and it's a great honor to be here today.
Thank you, Reed. I think everybody is a little serious, so take a deep breath and let go. This is a fun event. Startups are fun. It is tough, but it's also fun. Following the Prime Minister's clarion call from Red Fort about Startup India and Stand Up India, NASSCOM, the IMA Center for Incubation and Innovation, and Thai Silicon Valley put together the Startup Konnect program. Mr. Mohan Reddy briefly talked about it. We've taken, sir, 40 startups from India and from the US and given them an opportunity to meet with investors here in Silicon Valley. And because of that excitement, we're also going to take them to Boston. These startups get a chance to speak to investors, to other entrepreneurs, and also to mentors. To give you a little bit of a background about the innovation and all the good entrepreneurship that is happening in India, we'd like to play a very brief video which has been created to show you the upstarts from India. The next part of the Startup Konnect program is a series of memorandums of understanding that organizations in India have put together with organizations here in the US. I would now request the dignitaries to please stand up and witness the exchange of the MOUs between these organizations as I call them one by one. There are 7, and I'm going to go through them each one by one. The first MOU is between the Center for Cellular and Molecular Platforms in India, CCAMP, and the California Institute for Quantitative Biosciences to collaborate for Indo-US life sciences and creating innovation hubs. Thank you. The second MOU is with the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, and Prakash Lab from Stanford University to collaborate for the development and deployment of products from Prakash Labs. Thank you. The third MOU is with the National Association for Software and Services Companies, NASSCOM, and the Thai Indus entrepreneurs to collaborate the fostering of technology entrepreneurship in India and the Silicon Valley. The fourth MOU is with the IIM Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, CIIE, and the Lester Center for Entrepreneurship of the Haas School of Business in University of California, Berkeley. This is for the collaboration to jointly promote technology in entrepreneurship in India. Thank you. The fifth MOU is with the IIM Ahmedabad Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, CIIE, and the Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator. The Los Angeles Clean Tech Incubator and IIM intend to collaborate to promote clean tech entrepreneurship in India. The next MOU is IIM, Center for the Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship, with Tata Trusts to collaborate and jointly promote tech and impact entrepreneurship in India. Finally, the last one is with the IIM Ahmedabad Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship with Google to help take technology impact and participate in the Bharat Fund. Thank you. You may now take your seats. So the second part of the Konnect program was the exchange of the memorandums of understanding. I would now request the Prime Minister to please, through the click of a button on his left, launch the Bharat Fund IIM Innovation and Entrepreneurship Program for the impact to Indian investors. Sir?
Technology startups have completely revolutionized the lives of India's urban consumers. However, India's masses are still largely untouched by this entrepreneurial movement. This is the real India, the Bharat, comprising 1 billion plus people. Solutions for tens of millions have ended up becoming billion-dollar businesses, and those for Bharat's billions can be worth far more. We need ideas to democratize healthcare. We have to improve agricultural efficiency. We need distributed energy to empower the poor and the industries. Technology has the potential to solve most difficult problems and create sustainable growth for Bharat.
भारत नंबर 1 पर पहुंचेगा। आज हम नहीं हैं। भाइयों बहनों, इस स्टार्टअप को मुझे बढ़ देना, और इसलिए मेरा संकल्प है आने वाले दिनों में स्टार्टअप इंडिया और देश के भविष्य के लिए स्टैंड अप इंडिया।
Let's use tech entrepreneurship to make Bharat a golden bird again. We are backed by India's most credible organizations and invite global corporates and investors to join us in creating a new Bharat.
The third part of the Startup Connect program is the Bharat Fund. With support from the Government of India's Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and the Department of Science and Technology, along with Tata Trust, Bharat Fund is aimed to providing risk capital for the support of the innovative new companies in both the impact sector and the technology sector in India. It is a very focused venture fund and has an ecosystem development effort as well. Bharat Fund aims to catalyze a total of $150 million to support startups in agriculture, energy, and technology. Over the last few days itself, as you had seen from the MOU, companies such as Google, SAP, and others have agreed to collaborate to make Bharat Fund happen. And we look forward to working with others to do the same. I would now request the Pradhan Mantri to please come and make the address to the audience.
Thank you, everyone. Let us give a big hand to our outstanding young exhibitors today. Thank you for coming out in strength on a Sunday. Reid Hoffman, your LinkedIn is a great product, and you are an inspiration to many here and in India. Thank you, Mohan, Banki, Ambassador. It is a great pleasure to be here for me. This is a special event because the idea of startups is close to my heart. You are likely to wonder why, because governments and national capitals are supposed to stop or slow things down, not start them up. I know this was once the view of Washington from Silicon Valley, and this is exactly how techies in Bangalore thought about New Delhi. And I know that many of you think that the only problems that have not been solved are the ones for which you have not written the apps yet. When I shifted to Delhi last year, I thought of my government as a startup. So I also saw some of the bumps you face on the road. I understand your challenges, but also the wonderful feeling of creating something new. The course of human history and progress has been shaped by imagination, inspiration, invention, and innovation. I often say, if there is a strong wind blowing, some might want to shut the window. Others will want to put up a windmill or launch their sails on the seas. The difference between perception of something as a challenge or an opportunity is the difference between in-show and initiative, status quo, and progress. The idea of startups is an ancient as this world. Each economic age has been defined by the disruption of the previous one, by the evolution of ideas and products that displaces the old ones. Startups have always been the engine of progress. The mega corporations of today were startups of yesterday. What is different now is that the digital age has created a fertile new environment for startups. This is a world in which you do not grow by extracting resources, by spreading an idea. More than the creator, it is the consumer who discovers applications. Today, the startups defy the natural rates of growth. An idea can become a global name within a year. Customers can multiply at the rate of millions, employees at the rate of thousands, and valuation at the rate of billions. The convergence of technology, integration across drives, fields, distributed architecture, and people willing to back an idea have opened a new world for enterprise. This ecosystem was born in the Silicon Valley. No community is shaping our world as much as the one on this Californian coast. It is not just big names, but small firms that are fashioning every day new ways in enrich human life with the joy of artists and creators. That underlines America's success and inspires the world. So, I see startups, technology, and innovation as exciting and effective instrument for India's transformation and for creating jobs of our youth. We are a nation of 800 million youth below the age of 35 years. They are eager for change, have the energy and drive to pursue it, and the confidence to achieve it. When each of the 500 odd towns produces 5 startups and each of our 600,000 villages produces 6 small businesses on a regular basis, we will create an enormous economic momentum and generate a huge number of jobs in our country. India's own ecosystem of startups is evolving rapidly. It is driven by the energy, enterprise, and innovation of our youth. We have a huge market with rapid growth and untapped opportunities in every sector. We now have the institutions, incentives, and interest for new ventures. We have incubators, accelerators, and investors willing to back an idea and assume risks. India has woken up to the potential of startups ventures with great enthusiasm and energy. In the past few years, they have grown rapidly. We have here an outstanding group of startups from India. They are applying technology to transform healthcare, education, clean energy, security, financial inclusion of the poor, and access to clean water. Our startups represent not just commercial success stories, but are powerful examples of social innovation. The pace at which people in India are taking to digital technology defies our stereotypes of age, education, language, and income. There are nearly 1 billion people with cell phones in India. Smartphones and internet users are in hundreds of millions, growing at high double digits. The scale of India's development need is huge, and the need to achieve it is urgent. We cannot simply continue on the traditional paths of development. This is the vision and the spirit behind Digital India, which I spoke about last night. To use technology to transform governance, empower our citizens, eliminate barriers to opportunities, deepen social change, impart scale and speed to development, improve delivery of services, design affordable products for the poor, customize services for specific groups, and build a more sustainable future for our planet. Startups will have an important role in achieving our vision. From creating infrastructure to providing services, from manufacture of products to human resources development, from supporting governments to enabling citizens and promoting digital literacy, Digital India is a vast cyber world opportunities for you. I see startups not as short-term investment, but as a long-term commitment. Our application and enterprise is limited only by our imagination. We have here today our Department of Space that provides free data on its portal. In the course of past few months, we have put together 170 applications of space technology in governance and development. Many of these could become the vehicle of new ventures in India. But it is not just about the opportunities generated on the digital platform and advanced science by urban enterprises. I want to see the idea and the spirit of startups light up the economies and the fortunes of the people in rural India. From handicrafts to tourism, the frontiers of possibilities and the scale of reach in India is immense. I want this especially for our rural women who have shown marvelous success in enterprise whenever they have had opportunity. They transform not only our rural economy, but also our society. Our development models speak of public sector and private sector. I speak of a third sector, personal sector, of individual enterprises, micro enterprises, and microfinances. That is why I focus on Startup India in the Independence Day address this year. We are launching schemes that will support our mission, and I assure you that they will not trap your creativity in long government procedures. One is the Atal Innovation Mission, after former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, to promote innovation. Another is Setu, which means bridge in Hindi, self-employment and talent utilization. This will be an incubation and facilitation program. We are also setting up electronics development fund to support design, development and launch of new products. We are reforming our regulations and processes and making it easier to start and do business in India. We are making our digital infrastructure and services accessible and affordable. That will also bring broadband to 600,000 villages and the free Wi-Fi to schools, universities and public places. We are also giving the highest importance to data privacy and security, intellectual property rights, and cyber security. So Make in India, Skill India, and Design India will create a surge of opportunities. So friends, as we thought of startups, it was natural to choose Silicon Valley for our first overseas event. For India and the United States have a natural partnership of innovation and technology that has shaped the knowledge economy. I am told that Indians account for 15% of startups here. Hundreds of thousands of Indian professionals here and in India are contributing to the global success of US enterprise. Many are leading them today. Our universities, labs, and firms are working together for next generation advanced biofuels, solar energy, and energy efficiency. Young Stanford scholars are teaming up with Indian counterparts in Delhi to make affordable biomedical devices for rural India. MIT Tata Center's KhetWorks is changing the lives of small farmers with solar-based irrigation systems. We have here with us Manu Prakash, a young Indian scientist in Stanford, who has lab to his name at the university. This is the power of our cooperation and collaboration. Sitting here, you can touch the life of a young child in a remote village. I also hope that a young girl in a small town in India will look at the exhibitors today and dream of her own project. And someone in Mumbai or the Bay Area will be the angel to her dreams. This is the possibility. This is the possibility of the digital bridge to connect distant lives and change fortunes and future. This is the potential of youth and innovation. It can ignite a partnership between India and the United States, which can advance prosperity in our two countries and give new content to our strategic partnership. It can enable us to lead in the digital century and find solutions to enduring human problems and emerging global challenges. I'm delighted to see so many new partnerships formed today. I'm honored to launch the Bharat Fund today, which stands not just for India, but also for better health, agriculture, renewable, and technologies. I'm delighted that Qualcomm announced a fund of $150 million for startups in India. I want to thank TIE for its valued suggestions for creating a more supportive environment for startups. I know you will succeed on the strength of your genius and enterprise, but when you need a helping hand or when you find hurdles in your way, we will be there for you. Let me thank NASSCOM, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and Thai Silicon for this very special event. I am confident that you have inspired many young talents in India, launched thousands and new dreams, and shown the seeds of many India-US partnerships. Thank you very much.
Thanks, partner. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. I would now like to invite Mr. GVR Mohan Reddy to come and give it the vote of thanks.
Once again, a great thank you to Pradhan Mantri ji. Sir, with the folded hands, we like to acknowledge the amount of commitment, passion that you show in terms of driving all of us. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.